All right, you are retaking quiz from Friday because you had misunderstandings. I'm going to model for you how to do quiz A so you can complete the rest of the quizzes on your own. The first thing I'm going to do is identify all of my negative numbers. So I have a -3, I have a -2.5, a -1, a -2, and a -2.5. So I'm going to start by drawing my number line. My biggest negative I have is -3, so I'm going to start my number line at -3. So here's my -3. Then I have, cross it out so I know I did it. Then I have -2 and -1 as my next whole numbers. So -2, -1. All right, now I have to put in -2.5 and -2.5. Well, half, if I wanted to figure out what the decimal is, I take 1 in my calculator, put 1 in first, divide it by 2, so it's 0.5. So really, this is just another way of saying -2.5. So as I look at my number line, I'm going to put my 0 in. I look at my number line. Does -2.5 fit between -1 and 0? No, because it's -2, so it's bigger than 1. Does -2.5 fit between -2 and -1? No, because it's -2 and a half, so it's bigger than -2. So I'm going to go on the other side, and it's going to go in here between my 3 and my 4. So that's my my 2 and my 3. That's -2.5. The other one's -2.5 as a fraction, but it's the same number. So I'm writing it directly underneath it because it only takes up one space on my number line, not two, even though they're two different numbers. All right, so I'm going to continue on the other side. I have 0. I need to put in a +1, +2, and +3. So +1, +2, +3. I'm going to cross those out. All right, now I have 2 and 5/6, 2.5, 1.50, 1.5, and the square root of 9. First, I'm going to turn everything that is not into a decimal so I can figure that out. I do the 2 and 2/5 by taking my calculator and putting in 5 and dividing it by 6, which, hang on, I have to grab a calculator, sorry. So to find how much my 5/6 is worth as a decimal, I take the 5 and put it in first because it's the top number, divide it by 6, the bottom number, and it's 0.833333 forever. So the other number I'm comparing it to has just 2.8. So I'm going to put 2.83 and then the little bar saying it repeats, keeps going. And then this, I can use my calculator to do this, or I could just know. This says what number times itself gives you 9. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. So this is actually 3. If I wasn't sure and wanted to do it in the calculator, there's a little square root button right here. So I press 9 and then press the square root, and it tells me that the square root is 3. So this number is really called 3. So underneath the 3, I'm going to put the square root of 9. Cross it off because I did it. So now I have to put in my 1.5 and 1.50. This is the same thing, it's just missing the 0. So it goes in between the 1 and the 2 because it's 1.5. So 1.5, 1.50 because they're the same number, just a different way of writing it. And then I have to put in my 2.8, my 2.83. If I add another number to this, a 0, this is 280, this is 283. So 2.8 is smaller than 2 and 5/6. And that's how you complete your number line. You have to make sure that when you have things that are the same, that you write them underneath each other, not next to each other. Because if you write them next to each other, you're saying that they both belong in the number line. These do, but they share the same spot because they're the same thing, just in different forms. And I think that's all I need to remind you of. Don't forget, negatives are always on the left, positives on the right. Take your quiz and turn it in to me when you finish.